3 years, it's been a struggle. A lot of things have changed in healthcare, and you know, we try and continue to move with those changes and try and make it a better patient experience from start to finish. And you know, you see our struggles, but we're learning, and that's one of the reasons we have a patient family advisory council, to kind of make those steps and learn from you guys.
The answering service, doctor, that has to go. Really, something has to be done with that. I'm glad there's no more referrals, because they would tell you, yes, it's in the computer. You sure? Yeah. Go over to the hospital, give my name. Do you have a referral? Oh, yes. It's in the computer. No, there's none here, none here. Then they have to try to get through to that office, and they can't even get through. And it seems like a lot of people have this problem getting through to your office.
Yeah, we've made some changes, which we'll, at some point, we're gonna specifically talk about that, but the changes have been for the better, but it doesn't always work out, so we're gonna try, and that's one of the things that this council do, those kinds of aspects, like how do we make it work better? Because, for example, we have no busy signal anymore. Every call that's left on a message gets recorded. That's been great because we don't miss a call. However, having the staff to answer now 200 more calls a day is a big problem. So it feels like no one's calling you back ever, because sometimes they don't call you back timely, right? And sometimes that creates more angst than getting a busy signal, believe it or not. So we'll get into that. That'll be something we'll talk about.
I was a betting guy, and I had to bet on something. Your main consensus of people that are having problems, I would go to venture to bet as senior citizens, because they can't get around as well, they can't communicate as well, and they can't more or less do things they could have did 20, 25 years ago. So that group right there is the consensus of a group that's going to have something to say. The other one, they go in, they get their service done, they're going. But the older guy, he's going to come back. He's a neighborhood guy. He's going to come back. He's going to tell his friend, and that friend's going, guess what? He went to Dr. Rathaniel and pop, this. That's good.
Right.
That's good.
And then others aren't.
Sure.
And I do know that some of those phone calls, because I take a lot of those phone calls. Maria's one who has everything together when she makes the call. But for the people who don't, those phone calls can take a really long time.
Sure.
You know, so when you're talking about the 700 phone calls that come in and everything, some of those callbacks or the calls that are answered, they're not a 2 or 3 minute phone call.
Sure.
Yeah.
They can be a really long phone call and that can result. So I think a combination of helping people gather what they need to have right in front of them before they make that phone call, or if they left a message and they're waiting for a phone call back, leave that information right by the phone.
Does anybody else use the portal here, the online?
I signed one, but I never,
I use the phone.
I think it's simple. If I need to get a message to you, and I think hanging that phone up and calling back is going to get the message to you faster than being put in the queue,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it 100% of the time, hang up and call you back. So I need the information before I make my decision to hang up or to go into the queue, has to be coming from you. That it's not going to get any faster you're not going to get back to me any faster by hanging up and doing that, as compared to say something, get put in the queue, and the queue will be handled faster than you calling back. Once it becomes worth the time of putting message in the queue, not calling back, everybody's going to conform.
first, and then, that's it, you can't satisfy everybody, and
Do you have
you're
the
not
ability
gonna.
Do you have the ability to?
Can you stand outside and talk to them as they come in?
Okay, so that's one thing, stay outside. I was going to say, do you have the ability to actually listen to what we're talking about and then break down each call and say to one of your employees, not to fire them, but to improve their handling of something, so that potentially you could turn a 2-minute phone call that's 80% happy people to a 30-second phone call that's 100% or 90% happy.
This was, your best way to have that is when the person is in your office, when he or she is leaving. Because if he's got a comment to make about a bad experience, or something that happened in your office, or some kind of transaction or words that took place, he's got it fresh in his mind right then. So what I suggest you do is, when that patient is leaving, whether it be a senior citizen, whoever it may be, would you like to say something? Is there anything we can do to make it better?
Do you think that it would be better if it was an open-ended question, like you have to write in, or do you think it's better that there would be like a scale, like, you know, we discussed this on a scale of 1 to 5, do you agree or disagree?
I think the best way to do it is get a verbal comment. And make some person in your office responsible. One person. If you respond, well, Mrs. So-and-so, this is what she said happened. At the end of the day, you want how many people you see there? 60, 80, 90, 100? At the end of the day, you want to get a rough consensus. If something's wrong, you're going to have a higher percentage of people complaining about a certain incident.
Trying to take what we talked about in our first meeting and kind of putting it into action and taking the next step. So the first thing that we did was we made a newsletter. This is the first version of it. So we want you guys to kind of look it over, take a couple minutes, just read it, see if you think it's useful, if you think that we should add or change anything.
At that point, you get somebody hands on their phone, knock it out, turn around, let them put their code in, and then have them go back into it a couple times, show them how to change the code so they're comfortable, let them know it's secured, and then I think a follow-up, take note on who did it, and then a follow-up, because they might do it and not use it for 29 days, and it's just a waste of space and a waste of time. But maybe on the follow-up visit, say, have you used it? Let's practice. You're sitting there, and it'd be well-used time.
I'll give you an example. When the view is on, somewhat. If medical info that I could use, or anybody can use,
I think the best thing would be to teach people how to download the app while they're sitting there.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing it in your appointment, but if you're sitting there, you can see, you can loop that enough times.
You could be
Right.
sitting there doing
And then once you have the app in, you also are having an example of what to do with the app.
Like record a video of
Yes.
us doing it
Of-
and send them by May.
Well, what I'm saying is it's really successful. Let's say a year goes by,
Yeah,
and we still got the same group going.
yeah.
Will the information that we talked about during the course of that previous 12 months, would that be available to us?
Yeah,
That's great. I
yeah,
think
and
it's
we're
great.
gonna try and put it in our newsletter.
That's
You know,
right.
this is something we're proud
That's a
of, and we
positive
wanna,
thing.
For you guys to have a rating system for us, so that when the file comes up, you know that I need my handheld all the way. You know that I can pretty much.
So,
You have a
yes.
profile us
So-
in how much we need.
Yes, in a sense. We did something called risk stratification. We stratified you based on your disease states, kind of your age, like what kind of supports you needed. If there's a sheet, it's from the American Academy of Family Physicians, right? That there's criteria that you would meet depending on how many chronic illnesses you have and that kind of thing. So all of our patients are risk stratified from 1 to 5. 1 meaning you need really no help, you're a very young, healthy individual, to 6 where you're, you have terminal illness and no support, and you're you really need help, and those are the patients that we try and kind of care manage.
Hold their hand from the door. Yeah.
The struggle is we would like to add more service to the 5s and 4s,
Yeah.
but because of the time consumption of the
Yeah.
6s, we're struggling with
Yeah.
how to spread it versus those who need it most.
For example, like we have patients that are in that 5 or 6 that you can spend literally all day just working on that one patient to get 1 to 2 things accomplished. These are the metrics some of the metrics for this insurance that we are graded on. And we have to meet certain thresholds. You'll see lines, and there's like a minimum threshold and a maximum threshold that we have to meet. And you can kind of see where we are.
Why are they the two particular ones you're having your biggest
They're,
problem with?
they're the biggest problem in the
The
country,
biggest right now?
and they're the biggest problem in this area, and they're the biggest problem for us too.
Really?
I can't understand, and I've been doing this a long time, why people won't go to the eye doctor, and especially diabetics, when I tell them like blindness is one of the complications, but people just don't go at any significant rate.
The things that are really meaningful that we're really trying to work on and encourage patients to go is the breast cancer screening, the colorectal cancer screening. Diabetic eye exam is really challenging for us. And patients with diabetes getting their A1C below 9.
Is it ethical or whatever to actually show, to have pictures?
I agree 100%.
Hand them the pictures. This is what that can do. You know, like real photographs.
Subject, and then discuss it, what it can do to you, show pictures, like she said,
Yeah.
of,
It's
you know,
wasted
what's
time.
the fit.
It's wasted time. That
Yeah.
doesn't have to be wasted
But
time.
I think that's really important, and to see you doing it and using examples like that makes, and I think it could flip some people who might not pay as much attention and just like, oh,
I'm
well,
telling
you know,
you,
it
it
doesn't
does
work
me
or whatever,
every
but if
time
they
I
hear you
explain something.
explaining it.
I also think
And
that
different
people
topics.
learn visually sometimes. You know what I mean? You give them paper and they're like, I don't want to read this, or like it's not something that they
Well,
want to
don't
pay attention
comprehend it.
to,
They have
or
to read it
it's not
3 or 4
engaging.
times like me, but
Right.
to hear him and listen
Right.
to him, it's clear.